Do you know how much COVID-19 affected in other countries? Let's find out. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a profound impact on the economies of various countries around the world. The virus's rapid spread and subsequent containment measures led to disruptions in global supply chains, trade, tourism, and consumer spending. The extent of the economic impact varied depending on each country's response to the pandemic, healthcare infrastructure, and the nature of their economies. Let's check out some key impacts of COVID-19 on the economies of different countries. 1. Economic contraction. Many countries experienced significant economic contractions as a result of lockdowns, travel restrictions, and business closures. The sudden stop in economic activity led to declines in GDP growth rates, and in some cases, negative economic growth. 2. Unemployment and job losses. COVID-19 led to widespread job losses and increased unemployment rates as businesses were forced to lay off workers to cope with reduced demand and revenue losses. Certain sectors, such as hospitality, travel, and retail, were particularly hard hit. 3. Government stimulus and support. Governments around the world implemented various stimulus measures and support packages to mitigate the impact of the pandemic on businesses and individuals. These measures included financial assistance, wage subsidies, and tax relief to stimulate economic activity and protect jobs. 4. Healthcare expenditure surge. Countries faced increased healthcare expenditure to respond to the pandemic, including investments in medical equipment, testing, treatment facilities, and vaccine development and distribution. 5. Impact on global trade. COVID-19 disrupted global trade due to supply chain disruptions, reduced demand for goods and services, and travel restrictions. International trade volumes and cross-border investments were impacted as a result. 6. Digital transformation acceleration. The pandemic accelerated the adoption of digital technologies and e-commerce, as companies and consumers adapted to remote working and online shopping to reduce physical interactions. 7. Debt and fiscal deficits. Many countries saw a surge in fiscal deficits and increased national debt as they mobilized resources to support their economies during the pandemic. 8. Inequality exacerbation. COVID-19 disproportionately affected vulnerable populations, exacerbating income and wealth inequality in many countries. Low-income individuals and marginalized communities faced greater challenges in accessing healthcare and coping with economic hardships. 9. Impact on tourism and hospitality. Countries heavily reliant on tourism and hospitality industries faced severe economic challenges as international travel restrictions and border closures resulted in a sharp decline in tourist arrivals. 10. Economic recovery and vaccine rollout. The pace and shape of economic recovery varied across countries. The availability and effectiveness of COVID-19 vaccines played a significant role in supporting economic reopening and recovery. It's essential to note that the situation is dynamic, and the economic impact of COVID-19 continues to evolve. Government policies, vaccination rates, and the emergence of new virus variants will influence how economies recover and adapt in the post-pandemic era. Additionally, countries with strong healthcare systems, robust digital infrastructure, and diversified economies tended to fare better during the pandemic, while those heavily reliant on specific sectors faced more significant challenges. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant impact on the economies of various countries. The pandemic has led to widespread economic disruption, including lockdowns, travel restrictions, and business closures. These disruptions have had a negative impact on economic activity, leading to job losses, business failures, and a decline in economic growth. The impact of the pandemic has been uneven across countries. Advanced economies have been more resilient than emerging and developing economies. This is due to a number of factors, including stronger financial systems, more robust social safety nets, and a greater ability to implement effective policy responses. Some of the countries that have been most affected by the pandemic include: Number 1. United States. The United States has been one of the hardest hit countries by the pandemic. The economy contracted by 3.5% in 2020, and the unemployment rate rose to 14.7%, the highest level since the Great Depression. Number 2. China. China was the first country to be hit by the pandemic, but it has since recovered relatively well. The economy grew by 2.3% in 2020, and the unemployment rate remained low. Number 3. Europe. Europe has been one of the hardest hit countries in terms of the number of COVID-19 cases. The economy contracted by 7.3% in 2020, and the unemployment rate rose to 23.7%, the highest level since the 1970s. Number 4. Brazil. Brazil has also been one of the hardest hit countries by the pandemic. The economy contracted by 4.1% in 2020, and the unemployment rate rose to 14.7%, the highest level since the 2008 financial crisis. Did you find this video helpful and informative? If yes, hit the like button. Comment below on which topic you want to see me creating the next video upon. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for upcoming insightful videos. Stay tuned.